Hi, my name is Jesus and I'm a film school dropout. I'm actually not a film school dropout. I actually graduated, I think two and a half years ago. It doesn't matter. I just thought it would be a cool intro, or I guess a catchphrase for starting these videos. Before I actually start with this rant, I guess you could call it that, I want to state that I really like this show, and I don't think it's like an amazing show or a great trailblazing show. I don't think anyone actually thinks that, but yeah, I just wanted to start this and mention that I really enjoy the show, and me and my fiance watched it every single week and we actually really liked it. It had also been a while since the last time that we actually watched a show at the same time as everyone else as it was coming out. I actually think that the last time that happened was probably when we were watching the first season of The Mandalorian, and we really liked that show too, but I don't know, we just never felt like watching the second season. We watched only the first episode and we enjoyed it, but I guess we just kind of forgot about it. But with WandaVision, I really enjoyed not just the show itself, but the whole experience of waiting a week and thinking about the episode and talking to my friends about what we thought that would come out or end up happening in the next episodes. And also I spent a really long time every week watching YouTubers talking about theories that they had. And I think that in general this show has a lot of positives, especially the chemistry between Wanda and Vision, and I actually think that they finally gave Wanda a very much needed character development, because before they kinda just told you about how she is and who she is and what happened to her in the past. Pretty much the only kind of emotion that they used to give us was grief because of her past, because of how her brother Pietro died, and we did see a lot of grief in this show, but we actually got the chance to see her being just happy and enjoying life, at least at the beginning of the show, even though there were a few moments that actually had kind of scary, or I don't know, just moments that made her and us a little bit feel just a bit uneasy. And actually, thanks to this show, I checked out the Vision comic book that I forget who wrote it, but it had beautiful art and the story was just amazing. I'm gonna show the cover over here, and you're gonna be able to see the name of the author. And on top of that, I actually got to reconnect with one of my best friends that I had before, and we actually had a bit of a falling out, but now we pretty much talk every day, and I'm really grateful for that, because not a lot of my friends actually watch this show, only like 2 or 3 probably. And my friend Danny, who is the person that I reconnected with thanks to this show, he was just as excited and passionate about it as I was. But yeah, anyways, I think it's time now to actually begin with what actually bothered me about Marvel and about what they turned this promising show into. And it is a problem that not only this show has, but a lot of different shows and movies. And I believe that probably the first movie that showed us this problem that Marvel has had for a very long time was Iron Man 3. And a lot of people don't like this movie. I think I enjoyed it when I watched it. I was probably like 16 at the time, so I really enjoyed it, but it really bothered me that they started doing this thing in which they promise you that they would do something different. In this case, it was that the Mandarin was gonna be not really the Mandarin, it was just gonna be an actor, and the actual villain of the movie was just a random generic bad guy. And that was one of the biggest problems with that movie, and that carried on to other movies as well, which I'll actually talk about a few other examples in a little bit. And this very thing of Marvel trying to take us in a new direction carried over to a lot of other films in the future. I'm gonna talk about a different example in a little bit. But let's talk about WandaVision, and I just want to say first that I really enjoyed the show, but also I wasn't looking forward to it. I just watched it because I missed Marvel, because I think 2020 didn't have any Marvel movies, and I actually, even though it's very commercial, the company, I really enjoy the characters in the movies, and I don't think that all of them are good, but I really enjoy just watching almost all of the movies. So anyways, when I started watching WandaVision, I enjoyed it, but I wasn't hooked in the first 2 episodes because not much happened. But if there was one good thing that I think about in hindsight, it is that I really enjoyed these characters that didn't actually, I didn't really care about them before, because when you have this huge franchise, you don't have enough time to make us care about every single character, and especially when they're not like Captain America or one of the big guys. But I think honestly, if they actually decided and committed to just having Marvel sitcom about these 2 guys, I would have probably watched the whole thing. I think they were great together, and I also was really excited about Marvel doing something very different, or at least it seemed like it was going that way, but then some stuff happened. But Marvel showed us its true colors, and the fact that they were not ready yet to take us in new directions and being different. When we saw that Pietro was not actually Pietro, it wasn't the MCU Quicksilver, it wasn't also the Fox X-Men Quicksilver, and it was really disappointing to see that at the end of the show it was just a joke pretty much. Even his last name is just a joke. The fact that Quicksilver showed up, or I guess Evan Peters showed up in this show, served actually no purpose at all. And like I said before, it's not the first time that Marvel does something like this. For example, Thor Ragnarok is my favorite example of this, when I actually talk to my friends about my problem with Marvel. And it is that, like, Thor went through on a pretty interesting character arc, that by the end of the movie he was still Thor, but he realized that Thor didn't really mean having a hammer, and Thor didn't really mean looking like Thor, like long hair and a beard and everything. It was about like knowing who he was despite of not having anything at some point in the movie, and I really enjoyed that. And I think the movie is really funny, but I think it's not the best Marvel movie at all. I mean, it's so silly, and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, like rewatching it, I realized that it was a bit too silly. But anyways, in the next Marvel movie, I think it was Infinity War, I think that the Russo brothers, alongside with whoever wrote the script, were like, you know what, I don't like that. We don't really like that Thor doesn't have a hammer. We don't really like that he has that he only has one eye, and we don't really like a lot of the things that happen to this character. Even the fact that they made fun of they just made a little joke and a little reference about Jane Foster. We actually kind of want her back, so let's make Thor go back to his old self, and let's get rid of this whole arc and all of his character development. And you know what, yeah, let's just go back. We don't like how this went. And by the end of Endgame, he pretty much just went back to the beginning of Thor Ragnarok. He even looks the same. He got a fake eye that looks exactly like a normal eye. He got another weapon that it wasn't a hammer at first, but he eventually recovered his Mjolnir, and he pretty much they got rid of his character evolution, and that really bugged me. So I mean, this whole like vision that Taika Waititi had, I don't know, I feel like they just didn't like his vision and where things were going with this movie, which it makes not a lot of sense, because Kevin Feige must have been like, he didn't write anything and he's not in charge of every single little aspect and decision. I'd like to think that the directors have at least some sort of input in the scripts, and so that's why I think it's really weird that Thor, like, was going in this direction, and then with the big Avengers movie, he just went right back to where he was before Thor Ragnarok. And I know that this is a WandaVision video, but I just really wanted to talk about this because this is the big problem with Marvel, and I said it before like 2 times already, and it is that they can't commit to doing something different. And it really bugged me because by the end of WandaVision, it turned out to not really be a very, different show, and it ended up just having a generic villain with not a lot of depth, and I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit too. But yeah, and it actually ended up with the last episode being just like a generic third act of a Marvel movie with a lot of CGI and a lot of fights, and I really didn't like that. Overall, I think it's still a good show, and I really liked it, and I wish there was a second season, but there's probably not gonna be one. But yeah, I just felt kind of betrayed, and a lot of people actually felt like that for other reasons. Like, it eventually became a huge meme that if they saw a fly on the wall, people came up with theories about, oh, it's Mephisto. But the fact that they kind of promised us a lot, and the fact that every single comment, even if it's small, in a little interview, if the fans find it, and like if an actor says something, they can take it really out of context and just build this huge hype and this crazy theories, and people just end up being disappointed when they see that this show ended up being really generic at the end. Also, another thing that really bugged me was that I used to think and hope that Agatha Harkness was gonna have some a better motivation to steal Wanda's powers than just wanting to have more power. I think that's really one-dimensional, like just being bad because you're supposed to be bad and you're supposed to just want power for like no reason. And even in the flashback, she was just evil from the beginning, and she was supposed to have a mother that was the leader of her coven, and I don't know, it's just like she was evil for the sake of being evil. She ended up draining the life of her whole coven, and it just bugged me that there's no real reason for her to be like that. She was very one-dimensional, and I was hoping that, I don't know, she wanted to steal Wanda's powers because she wanted to bring someone back from the death, like she did with Vision, and how she just created her twins, which I thought was really interesting. And before I get ahead of myself, I think that probably having Billy and Tommy show up finally, that was probably the best move for Marvel, and it's pretty obvious that they're gonna come back eventually, probably in the next Doctor. And yeah, she just ended up being a generic villain, and I really didn't like it that you can pretty much compare her to Ronan the Accuser, I believe that's his name, from Guardians of the Galaxy, and they both pretty much just wanted power. And I don't know, I think that's just really lame, and that's another problem that Marvel has. Their villains are usually not great, except for Thanos. And even though a lot of people were disappointed with the ending of the show, including myself, I am hopeful about the Marvel future because of a few reasons. The first reason is that they really need to get new characters, like younger actors, and I think that the fact that they brought to the table Wanda's twins is probably the best thing that could have happened in this show, because this opens up the doors to a lot of possibilities, because you can actually start a Young Avengers movie or show or whatever they want. And it's like the second time that they tease us the multiverse, and even though it didn't really happen at all, I really think that if not with Loki, well, actually probably not with Loki, but with the next Doctor Strange movie, I mean, it's called Multiverse of Madness, so for sure there's finally gonna be, some multiverse aspects, and I think that's really, really exciting. And I think that then Marvel is finally gonna be ready to move on from the same formulaic movies, because I mean, there's always gonna be fans, and even myself, I'm always gonna be, if not excited, at least curious and looking forward to watching whatever new movie they're gonna come up with. But I think that once they introduce some more interesting concepts like the multiverse, and when they bring more new players to the table, like younger actors, I think Marvel is gonna have like sort of a renaissance. And I was not looking forward to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I actually haven't watched it yet, but I really want to start watching it, and maybe, you know, making weekly episode reviews, and, you know, just telling you about my opinions about the show. Because if WandaVision showed me something, it is that if I'm not excited about a Marvel movie or a Marvel show, I should still give it a try, because they really, really surprised me. Like, I got disappointed at the end, but I don't think that the ending of this show really tainted and ruined the whole experience for me. It still was I really enjoyed it, and I really had a great time, and I look really fondly back to like the past few weeks, because it was just a blast. I really had a good time watching this show. So who knows, I'm not looking forward to watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but who knows, maybe I'll love the show even more than WandaVision, which I really don't think is gonna be the point or the case, I guess, but I don't know, could be. So yeah, please let me know down in the comments if you would actually be interested in listening to me talking about each episode of the Winter Soldier and Falcon Body Cop show, because I mean, I'll probably do this anyways, but it would be nice to see your support. This is my first video for this channel. I also have a photography channel, and I don't know, I just really enjoyed making this video. And if you stayed until the end, thank you so much for watching me and listening to me. And if you don't mind, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to watch more content like this. Bye.